This is the Polished Business Podcast, where we discuss everything business, boss, and books. My name is Kimberly Beadle, and I am a registered Bass agent here in Australia, a certified bookkeeper, and I have a BA in psychology. And I am absolutely obsessed with supporting businesses and their success. This is a continuation from our last episode. If you haven't tuned in, you may want to listen there first. Otherwise, let's continue the conversation. Okay, I'm going to go back to the questions because I know I'm kind of
I love it though.
All right. So what do you wish every business owner would consider or understand?
Firstly, good HR isn't just about compliance paperwork. It's about designing a workplace where people can actually perform well and ultimately increase the business's profitability. That's why businesses exist. We've got to be profitable. Clear expectations, structured onboarding, regular manager conversations, that psychologically safe leadership. That's what makes teams productive and sustainable. When those things are missing, many businesses often think, oh, I've got a people problem, I've got a problem with such and such, when really it's a systems problem. That's why it's great to get an HR expert in place to make sure that once the structure is right, that performance most of the time just improves naturally. A second thing is that HR isn't, if I haven't already drilled that in today, just a nice to have or a fluffy thing. It certainly shouldn't be fluffy. Great HR directly impacts the bottom line. So if I can give you an example, let's say we've got a small business with 12 employees, average salary of about $80,000. If one experienced employee leaves because expectations were unclear or there were performance concerns not addressed early or the manager relationship isn't working well, the cost isn't just the cost of the salary of that person walking out the door. There's typically recruitment costs between $6,000 and $12,000. There's lost productivity while that role sits vacant, which could be $15,000 plus. There's the onboarding time and training, which could be between $8,000 and $15,000, depending on the role. Then there's also the manager time of supporting that transition, which could be about $5,000 plus. Then we've also got the reduced output while that new person ramps up, which could often be between 3 and 6 months. So what's that? About $20,000 to $40,000. So very quickly, that single resignation can cost upwards of $60,000 to $100,000 plus just for the single resignation. And that's before you factor in the impact on the rest of the team morale. I've seen it time and time again in a team, and I've experienced it as well when I was an employee too. You've got that one poor performer. When you're picking up their mess and doing your own workload, it's such a big morale killer. Your best employees will walk out the door, and that is the most expensive outcome of all. Probably sacking Johnny for being the poor performer, but you've already got your great teammates, your A players that have walked out the door. Those costs really ramp up. I like to say to most business owners that most people problems are actually clarity problems. So when roles are well designed, when expectations are clear, where managers are confident having those regular conversations and leaders understand, what their psychosocial safety, then performance just naturally improves and businesses spend far less time reacting to issues later. So that's where good HR really creates commercial value. A tangible example too, because
And it's all sizes
HR's
of
fluffy.
business too, are pretty close to those numbers, no matter what size business you are. I think that's very important to remember too. And, a smaller business, even if they don't see it tangibly, it's just steamrolling along over a course of a year. If you've ultimately lost between 40 and 80K minimum per employee leaving you by whatever costs as you described, that could have been in your bank account, or that could have been put towards advertising or lots of different things. So, yes, it's definitely.
Absolutely.
I also like how you said that the it could be a processes situation that you could avoid losing these people. I see that even just as a human out in the world, something that's happened to me as a customer and something doesn't go smoothly because of my background with assisting businesses, I think, well, that wouldn't have happened if that person had a better process in place with their company to oh, this has happened, so I should say this to the customer? No, you shouldn't say that to the customer. You should go talk to this manager yourself and get whatever support, or you should document and refund or partial or offer credit or whatever that situation is. So I definitely agree that I'm never mad at the individual that's, obviously done something wrong. Being an employee on that side of thing, you can get so frustrated when you just feel like you don't even know that it's a process. They're not going to be able to tell you necessarily it's a process problem. They just know that they don't know what to do and they feel icky about a situation that keeps coming up, or how they're supposed to handle customer issues in one way, how they're supposed to handle interactions with their teammates. If you don't have that open door policy, if you don't have that line of confidentiality to be able to report issues or ask for support, it's just going to escalate. And the good people, because they know it's not right, they're not going to just stick it out because it's fine. And the good people will easily find another job. Like, they will
Exactly.
go to where things are better.
Exactly. I have had so many, countless, and they're usually female professionals that are just your model employee, your dream employee, just
Yeah.
come to me just in tears because they've either got a new manager and the manager completely has a different way of doing things, doesn't implement good change management practices, and they're just so disengaged and taking
Yeah.
everything personally, or the new manager feels threatened by them because they're such a good performer, and there's just so many things that could be
Yeah.
that are just easy fixes, quite frankly, if you just step back and had a look at it and make sure everyone was singing from the same page and doing things correctly and had the right processes in place. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I like how you also touched on performance issues. And I think you kind of talked about it, but maybe just expand slightly on it. There's a difference too between underperformance and serious misconduct that I end up hearing or having conversations a lot with my clientele when they're like, I'm gonna fire so and so. Hold on, hold on. There are steps, warnings, written stuff, sitting down, retraining, la la la. There's the steps you have to go. But there's
Absolutely.
also a difference between is somebody underperforming because of an external factor that you can easily just fix. Just fix that and then they'll be going. And then of course there's serious misconduct where, someone showed up on drugs or alcohol, or they've, been violent or something quite serious. Fair Work has that listed out very clearly. You can always ask an HR person if you're not sure. Do you have an opinion with when it is an underperformance? Do you find that it's sometimes just a case of adjusting processes and maybe retraining, or adjusting the position of that person to help them just boom in their role, that maybe they're just not in the right spot? Is it a cost benefit to just move that person and give them that support? Is it saves the business owner money by just adjusting that person's role so that their performance is overperforming?
Oh, I love this question so much. What I like to do with businesses, a background check first. So gauge how well of a setup the employee has to know what the expectations are and to know what success looks like in the role. I see so many businesses that don't even have a job description or any kind of operating rhythm for this employee, guessing what their manager or what their boss wants. They're just guessing what good looks like. And it's frustrating on both sides. The manager's like, why don't they just get this? And then the employees just figuring out what's a priority, what does good look like. So I like to, instead of just fixing the issue that we see in front of us of, oh, okay, they're not performing, let's put them on a performance improvement plan or just get rid of them. You're just going to have a hamster wheel of having the same thing happen again. So let's
Mhm.
go back to the start. Let's check our ABCs. Do they have a clear job description? Do they have KPIs? Do they have a clear understanding of what their operating model is, what their operating rhythm is, and what success looks like in the role? If they've got that and it's clear, okay, are they having regular conversations with their manager? If
Mm.
I
Do
say
they
if
know who their manager is?
oh, that happens so often too. They don't even know who their manager is. So if
Yeah,
they
like, who
did
do
have
I
a
report
problem or if
to?
they did have questions, who the heck do they go to? That happens
Yeah.
so often too. They're not sure who to go to, and then they end up going to the wrong person, or that they
Mhm.
later find out is the wrong person. Give them the opportunity to ask questions, get that clarity before issues snowball, or are they, what's going on for them personally? Like, are you having that regular conversation where maybe their mother is dying in hospital and
Yeah.
silently they're usually a great employee, a great performer, but they've got something personal going on.
Mhm.
You're scared to bring it up because you're not having those regular catch ups and setting them up for success. So there's things to look at before we just look at what we think the immediate problem
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Um, and often
Investigating.
if there is an issue, a personal issue, it goes so far to saying, "Hey, do you need some time off?
Yeah.
Do you need to work from home for a couple of days while we
Mhm.
see you through this?" So having
Yep.
that flexibility, that just goes so far to get that long-term buy-in with the employee. I think you actually did a post on that recently about the perks of what you can give back to your employees. This is one of them, having that understanding and giving them that flexibility because we all do have fully formed lives and lives outside of work as well. So, showing a bit of humanness to they remember you helped them through that tough time. And
Mhm.
then, when everything's fine again, they can just bounce back and absolutely kill it in their role. So doing a bit of staying curious, really, I'd say. And then if all of that is fine, we're doing all of that, then okay, we can look at it and maybe put them on a performance improvement plan to see if
Mm.
we can have some focused sessions, or do they need a bit more training in this area? Did anyone ever train them in this? It depends on the circumstances, but I do like to emphasize let's do a bit of fact finding first and staying curious. Otherwise, we'll be on that hamster wheel of replacing people constantly, whereas you need to fix the root cause first. Make sure that's all set up first. Yeah,
And when you fix that root cause and your hamster wheel changes, one person is having an issue and you offer that support, that confidential, again, I said it before, I'm going to say it again, just keep it confidential if they do share with you what's going on with them.
absolutely.
But you're there, you sort out, okay, you're gonna work from home. You understand now why they're looking at their phone every 5 minutes because something's going on. You let them know there's that grace and you're gonna be there to support them, whatever capacity you guys work out. And then that employee is now this little seed in all of your other employees. They're going to share their positive experience and maybe not immediately, maybe just when somebody else speaks up and says, "Oh, I'm so frustrated because I don't know what to do." And they'll say, "You know what? You could go talk to them because they helped me when I had a situation." And now that's taking off the pressure on you, of course. Let everybody know I have an open door policy, la la la. Like say that, but people don't know it unless they see it. And
Absolutely.
if you help one person in your team chatting with their teammates in some capacity now enough at least once, they're going to say something about their experience with you, if it was good or bad. You have the power to make that seed, blossom into something perfect. And you're going to have a team that knows that they can come to you, that knows they can be honest with you immediately. And you just get to avoid ongoing issues of being like, "Oh, I don't know why Mark's doing this," or popping outside every couple minutes. "What are they doing now?" Or "He seems distracted." You already know because he came straight to you and said, "Hey, just a heads up. This is going on. I'm going to get my work done, but I just might be this and that a little bit. Is that okay?" And you'll be like, "Yeah, of course. I understand." And then off you go. And you didn't even have to do anything. He came to you. And that, again, going back to the numbers, because you're business owners and, your bottom line is important, but it's going to help that bottom line and not only just make a lovely work environment for all of your team and yourself. You're going to want to go there. Your team will want to show up. Your clients will feel it. It's just going to be a nice place to be.
Exactly. And when you talk about bottom line, actually doing it this way is better for the bottom line. I've seen uh, countless stories. One that comes to mind is let's call him Mark. The business owner came to me saying, he's always late for work. I don't know what's going on. I just want to discipline him, give him a written warning. I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, has anyone had a conversation to check what's going on? Is there anything that we should know about from a
Mhm.
supportive perspective? No, I just want to give a written warning. Don't want to know. Outlining risks and whatnot, we go ahead with the disciplinary. And lo
Yeah.
and behold, what comes out? Mark's son is on life support in the hospital. How big the owner felt after that could have been avoided, and not to mention legal risk for them exercising their workplace right.
Yeah.
It's a lot of risk in self. Being curious up front is so much better for the bottom line anyway.
Especially if it's a change to the employee. If you just hired somebody, it can sometimes be harder to know, is this just how they are or what's going on? If
Yeah.
you had somebody that's been with you for a while, or at least long enough that it felt fine and now it doesn't, something's happening, whether it's very often it's an extreme situation at home and that could be wide ranging, or sometimes it's a coworker and who they're working with is just being a bit difficult, or it could be something else, but you don't know until you ask, and it's worth asking. Worst case scenario, they say, I just don't want to be here and I don't like my job. Okay, well, do you want us to help you find a new job? Like,
At least it's out in the
and
open
it's
now.
at least you're aware where their mental state is. It could start looking for a new person and not be left with them just walking out one day.
But still stay curious.
But
Why?
stay curious. Why do you hate your job? How can we retrain or give you more opportunities or put you in a different spot in the business? Because you're already here and you know us and we like you, and there's options. There's always options. But every side of it, there's an opportunity to, if you stay curious. What is one more tip or piece of advice you'd like to share?
Okay. If a business owner asks me where to start, I'd
Oh,
give them five. Can I do this? Can I give them five tips? I'd give them five people foundations that would make the biggest difference early. So, number one, I'd set clear expectations, like we've spoken about. Make sure every employee understands what their role is. As silly as that might sound, what is their role? What are the priorities? What does success look
hand
like?
them a job description.
Set them
Here,
up for success.
here.
Then, secondly, for a new employee, the first 30, 60, and 90 days are so important. Make sure you get those right. That early structure and support really shapes their long term performance more than most leaders realize. Thirdly, I'd run regular one on one check ins, even a 15-minute weekly check in with them. These conversations help prevent those small issues from snowballing, and it helps those employees to feel heard and to just ask those questions that you may not want to bother them, but if you've got that allotted little 15-minute window once a week, you can bring your little to that session so that things don't become bigger. It helps the relationship as well to feel safe, to have that ongoing dialogue. Whereas, as we've said, there's some businesses where people don't even know who their manager is. So if they had an issue or a question, they wouldn't even know who to go to. So for so many reasons, having that regular one-on-one check-in is so important. Don't leave it to a 6 or 12 month performance review. I'd
Yeah.
rather you not even do that at all if that's your only interaction because they're so useless. Four, I'd address performance issues early. If those expectations are clear, supports in place, but performance still isn't improved, ignoring the issue is going to compound the issue as we've spoken about today. You're going to lose other players, your other A players. So don't shy away from those tough conversations. Bring an HR expert in if you want to understand how to approach it. There's ways to approach it proactively. So don't
Consistency.
shy away from those tough conversations. And finally, lead by example. Leadership isn't about titles, it's about the environment that you create around you. So when people feel clear, supported, valued, performance follows naturally, and that shows up in retention, productivity, and ultimately the business's profitability. So it's
Mhm.
in the business's best interest to make sure these foundations are all in place.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. That's gold right there. Is those 5 points. Everybody should be taking those on board immediately. I agree wholeheartedly with them. Thank you. We've talked about so much. I'm very excited about everything we've discussed today. I think
Me too. It is.
Oh,
It
yeah.
is.
And we've been in business since 2014, and every business that I've come across, I think would benefit from what you shared today. So thank you so much for that. And it's never too late to start, and it's never too early to start having an HR support person, and that it's a flexible support as well. Whatever you need, get the person that's whoever you choose out there to be your support. Make sure that they're going to work with what you need and you feel comfortable reaching out to them, and then use them as needed, especially if big issues happen or you feel there's a problem with your team. Definitely talk to your HR before you talk to anyone else because they're going to know. And it's okay to not know because you're busy doing your business and being an expert in your business. There is a reason why there is a huge HR industry, because it's needed. And it can be such a huge, costly win for you, or avoid costly loss for you, just because you got this sorted early. And just the confidence you get as well in your business, and you get to roll that out to your employees. It's beautiful.
Yeah, that peace of mind.
Yeah,
Priceless.
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Gabby from Her HR. I do want to give you the opportunity to say what's the best way to contact you if somebody has follow up questions or wants to have a consultation or just reach out in general. What's the best way to reach you?
You can head to my website, herhr.com.au. I've got my phone number, and you can also schedule a discovery call if you just want to have a chat. You may not know what you need. We can talk about where you're at, what's going on, and how I can. I'm also on Instagram, LinkedIn. Otherwise, my email is Gabby, Gabby, at herhr.com.
Perfect. And I like that you offered both options there of a phone or email, because I know everyone's different. I'm
Yeah.
somebody that likes to write something out and send it off before a phone call, but I know some people just need to talk it out. So,
Mm,
whichever way works best for you, Gabby will listen.
exactly. We all work differently.
Perfect. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Gabby. This has been great. And thank you so much for being on the Polished Business Podcast.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Love being here.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Polished Business Podcast. Check out all our episodes for valuable information for the business boss and books. To apply to be a guest or stay connected, follow Polished Business on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, and YouTube. Don't forget to join the Polished Business platform for free support or one of our paid tiers. All the best in your business journey.